Good morning. Good morning. Well, today is a historic day for the future of transportation in San Francisco, and this groundbreaking is a major milestone toward the construction of the Central Subway Project, which is Phase 2 of the 3rd Street Light Rail Project. We will be connecting communities from Visitation Valley, Bayview, Hunters Point, Mission Bay, Soma, Union Square, and our destination is Chinatown.
Happy New Year!
All right. By the year 2030, we anticipate that fully 76,000 riders will use this line daily, and that is more than half of our current metro system ridership. The building of this project will be an economic engine that creates tens of thousands of jobs. Literally 37,000 to 43,000 jobs will be created by this project during the lifetime. So this is truly an investment in our future, and we're here specifically to mark the beginning of the last month of relocation of utilities to make room for the tunnel portal that will start under this freeway and end at Moscone Station further up 4th Street. But in a larger sense, we're here to recognize and celebrate the forward momentum of this project, which continues to receive overwhelming support by our federal government. We're especially thankful to our federal officials, including House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Senator Dianne Feinstein, and Senator Barbara Boxer for their tireless work in support of this Central Subway project. Just last week, President Obama proposed a budget that included a recommendation for $20 million for this project. And right here in San Francisco, we have no one greater than our mayor, a great champion of this project, Mayor Gavin Newsom, who understands the importance of transportation and expanding and improving our transit system. Mayor Newsom, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming out. And I want to just congratulate all the folks that you see behind me, and so many of you that those that are watching on TV cannot see, that are out here in the audience that have made this possible. This idea goes back, Rose, probably 1989, after the Loma Prieta earthquake, when people talked about the importance of providing transportation opportunities to the Chinatown area and the importance of rebuilding the economic vibrancy of the community coming from the quake in '89, when folks were concerned that we were going to tear down the freeway down at the Embarcadero and that we would not have those access points. Batons were passed from mayor to mayor, going back at the time to Mayor Agnos, to Mayor Jordan, to Mayor Brown, that have processed this vision for, seems like, 2+ decades. Nothing, though, has mattered more than having Nancy Pelosi's support and leadership, not just in her current capacity as Speaker, but in her capacity as our local representative at the House of Representatives in Congress. Each and every year, Nancy Pelosi is asked to make this a top priority for San Francisco, and every single year the Speaker has followed through and delivered on that promise. I cannot underscore enough the importance of having federal partners. This project simply could not be done, would not be done. We would not be here today without her leadership and the leadership of her two partners, Senator Dianne Feinstein and Barbara Boxer. So much of the work of this project is behind the scenes in ways that when I was a member of the Board of Supervisors, I never imagined or fully understood. I thought in my role as a member of the Transportation Authority, as a member of the board, that we would go out and we would organize support and pass resolutions and appropriate some resources, that was all we were going to need. At the end of the day, this is probably more complicated in some ways than organizing an insurance package or reform. The fact is, you have a lot of moving pieces and a lot of folks that are competing for the federal dollars that we are going to be the beneficiary of. We're talking about $1 billion that is about to be pledged, we hope, when we get the full funding grant agreement in 2011, which we're absolutely committed to and convinced we will receive if we continue to do our part of this equation. $1 billion will be invested by the federal government into this transit project. That is a significant amount of money. Money that I assure you every other congressional representative is wanted in their district back home, wherever though their districts are. But the reality is those federal dollars are going to be coming out here to San Francisco for the beneficiary of a disproportionate number of jobs that will be created by San Franciscans in our city. And I am here to celebrate that with all of you. Basically, the kickoff, though not formal kickoff, because I know that the kickoff that will get most attention is when the tunneling is kicked off, which won't be till 2012. But the real work of the utility relocation is happening now, and this is indeed a significant milestone. Just a few brief comments about what Nat just said. We just received $20 million of appropriation with the support of President Obama and the Speaker and our leadership. That continues the design phase of this work. In the next 24 months, all that design work should be complete. We should be reimbursed by the federal government. This project is still, a lot of folks are cynical about this, still tagged at about $1.6 billion. And we believe, and I can say this at my peril, but I say this with some confidence, that we will deliver this on time and on budget. That we have designed, valued, and engineered this in a way that I believe these numbers are absolutely achievable. It's a 1.7-mile system, so it's not an inexpensive extension of the first phase of the 3rd Street Light Rail. Remember, that was $648 million, and it provided for 5.1 miles. This is $1.6 billion. It provides for 1.7 miles. But again, this is a completely different project, as the tunneling and the subterranean components of this are what makes this unique. It reduces surface street congestion. It creates a framework that connects Visitation Valley out there near the Cow Palace to the rest of the city, completes the vision, again, that has been established for decades, and provides a framework where, by most objective analysis, by the way, never believe us on the job estimates, because they're always just estimates, but by most objective analysis, provides anywhere from 30 to 40,000 jobs for every $1 billion invested. That's sort of the rule of thumb with federal transit dollars. And over the life of this project, between now and 2018, when it's complete, Nat Ford is absolutely right. Those jobs will total certainly in excess of 35, we believe close to 40,000 jobs, and by the federal estimates, it could be even higher. This is a big day for all of us, a significant day for Chinatown and its leadership. I congratulate all the commitment and constancy of the advocates in Chinatown that have held our feet to the fire on this. I want to thank the Board of Supervisors, the President of the Board who's here today for all his hard work on this. I want to thank the former mayors that worked hard on this, the former members of the Board of Supervisors that have worked on this, Supervisor Dufty, who did an outstanding job as chair of the Transit Authority in the last year, and the baton he's passed to the new director of the Transit Authority. And on behalf of the MTA, I want to just thank every single member of the department that has made this possible, particularly all of the board of directors that are here today for this significant, groundbreaking, and occasion. Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Mayor Newsom. Our next speaker is a newer member of the elected family here in San Francisco, but his determined support of the Central Subway predates his election to the Board of Supervisors. In fact, Supervisor Chu was one of our original members of our community advisory group, and he now represents a community whose grassroots support has been absolutely essential to the success of the project and where we are today. So please join me in welcoming President David Chu.
Good morning. We are just a few days from celebrating our Lunar New Year, and I can't think of a better way to help kick off the new year than to be here as part of this amazing celebration. As Nat just mentioned, I did serve on the Citizen Advisory Committee to this project, and I think for those of you who I see in the audience who have spent the better part of 27 years being part of this vision, for being part of the 150 community meetings, for being part of moving forward on countless government approvals from the federal level down to the local level, for being part of a vision of turning San Francisco into a true 21st century transit-first city. Thank you for all that you have done. The neighborhoods that we are talking about that will be affected by this are the densest neighborhoods on the West Coast. And they were our first transit-first neighborhoods. In the mid part of the 18th century, we didn't have cars, and we had to figure out how to get around. And while we have obviously evolved significantly since then, the opportunity that we have with this Central Subway project to really figure out how we can get along and how we can travel on many, many modes of travel, but in particular, the type of travel that we are creating with this transit is amazing. And I just want to congratulate, as the mayor said, all of the numerous stakeholders that we've had around the city and in government to make this happen. I particularly want to thank my colleagues on the board, Supervisor Dufty, who very ably managed our transit authority, our newest chair of the transit authority, Rosmir Karimi. We have had unanimous support from the Board of Supervisors, not just from this board, but from previous boards as well as previous mayors. Our city family has come together in the way that we should, and I just want to say that this is the fruition of that work, of that collaboration, of that cooperation, to not only turn us into a transverse city, but make sure during these tough economic times that we have, and I will quote the estimated jobs that are slated to be created, the 40,000 jobs that will hopefully be created in the coming years to not just build this project, but move our economy forward. Again, I want to thank everyone for all of your work, particularly the residents and the leaders from Chinatown, who I know have been fighting for this for many, many years. Thank you for all that you have done, and we look forward to moving this forward.
Thank you, President Chu. Your district and the entire city welcomes your leadership on these transportation issues, and we thank you for all your efforts. Our next speaker also has a role in delivering this project and moving us closer to Central Subway opening. The wise decision by voters in 2003 to support the Central Subway was a good landmark. So what we'd like to do at this time is call up Supervisor Ross Mercarimi, who also serves as our chair of the San Francisco Transportation Authority. Supervisor?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm delighted and honored to be here as the new chair of the San Francisco County Transportation Authority. I'd also like to recognize, as my colleagues have done, my predecessor, Supervisor Gavin Newsom, for his able work and fine leadership. Imagine a Chinatown with less congestion. Imagine a Chinatown with greater accessibility and connectivity. Imagine a Chinatown that is now experiencing an economic boon, especially with so many jobs. Imagine a Chinatown that is now certainly becoming part of our sustainable transit-first policy that we like to hail throughout the rest of the city and county, and as we certainly project to the rest of this world. I'm delighted as the new chair of the Transportation Authority to say that we are absolutely committed, both with our federal partners, both with all of you who have worked so hard, so ably over the last 8-9 years in order to make this an economic reality. Of the $244 million that has been procured thus far towards this particular project, $210 million of that 244 comes from the Transportation Authority. We are absolutely dedicated in making sure that the funding is procured, especially while our federal partners, of course, Speaker Pelosi's office and others, who are working diligently to make sure that that nearly $1 billion is procured, so we do see this to fruition. So far, as part of our signature projects of the Transportation Authority, Doyle Drive, Presidio Drive, or the Gary or Verness Bus Rapid Transit, as well as this project, this is critically important to us to make sure that in order to lift all boats in San Francisco, that we complete what we have started, and that is what was realized after certainly the Loma Prieta earthquake of '89, that we regain the access to Chinatown that had been lost, and that we bring it into the 21st century of our transit first policy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Supervisor Mercarimi. We would not be here today if it wasn't for the collective efforts of a lot of individuals, and I want to take the time now to recognize them. We have Megan Miller from Senator Boxer's office. Megan, where are you? All right, welcome. A tireless champion in Rose Pak. Rose, Chinese Chamber of Commerce. Supervisor Chu has joined us. Good to see you, Supervisor. Terry McCullough, the Chief of Staff from Nancy Pelosi's office. Terry? All right, there you go. All right, Terry, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Jane Kim, President of the San Francisco School Board. Jane, oh, good to see you here, Jane. I think we recognize Supervisor Bevin Dufty. Supervisor Dufty, good to see you here today. We have two of the MTA board members here, Bruce Oka and Jerry Lee. And from also from Speaker Pelosi's staff, Scott Boulay and Robert Edmondson. Scott and Robert, thank you for joining us. And we also are joined by one of my colleagues, the City Administrator, Ed Lee. Ed, good to see you here. Our next speaker is quite familiar with the Central Subway Project. We spent a great deal of time with him as the district director for the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. He is always helpful to us, whether we need to arrange a quick tour for one of the speaker's colleagues or gauge what's going on in Washington, D.C. So please join me in welcoming Dan Burnell from Speaker Pelosi's office. Dan?
Thanks, Nat. And Nat, thank you so much for acknowledging my colleagues from Washington, D.C., Terry McCullough, Scott Boulay, and Robert Edmondson. They've really been key in helping the Speaker carry forward her commitment to this project to today and until this project is done. So thank you again, Scott, Robert, and Terry. We've celebrated a lot of milestones in this project, and I don't even remember how many years ago it was. Maybe Supervisor Dufty or Reverend Norman Fong or Gordon Chin or Claudine Cheng or Rose Pak remembers when we were up in Chinatown at the other end of the project celebrating with the Speaker as we moved forward. She really wishes she could be here today, but of course business in Washington is keeping her there. But she did ask me to bring you a greeting, which I'll read now. Dear friends, thank you for inviting me to join you for this groundbreaking of San Francisco's Central Subway Project. While congressional business does not allow me to be with you today, please accept my warm wishes and congratulations as you celebrate this occasion. The 3rd Street Central Subway Project will connect the long-isolated, diverse communities of Bayview, Hunters Point, and Visitation Valley with San Francisco's civic, business, and cultural center in downtown. It will provide the city's only north-south rail connection through the heart of San Francisco's business, tourist, and shopping areas, reconnecting communities that for many years could only rely on bus service. Phase 2 of construction, for which we are breaking ground today, will extend this light rail line through San Francisco's South of Market area and the downtown Union Square shopping district into the heart of Chinatown. Once complete, this line is projected to carry over 78,000 riders per day. It will promote commerce and economic development, improve mobility, and reduce air pollution for all of San Francisco, while improving service reliability and reducing travel times for tens of thousands of commuters and visitors each day. I have long supported the 3rd Street Central Subway Project, and am proud to have worked with Senators Feinstein and Boxer to secure $72 million in federal funding to assist with this critical work. Thank you to Mayor Gavin Newsom, the SFMTA Board of Directors, Executive Director Nat Ford and his staff, and the Central Subway Project team for your leadership in keeping San Francisco's residents and visitors moving throughout our city in a way that is convenient and sustainable. Warm regards, Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dan. Now I'd like to ask Chairman Tom Nolan of the San Francisco MTA Board of Directors to say a few words. The MTA Board has provided crucial guidance and leadership on this Central Subway project, and we are lucky to have Chairman Nolan as our leader. His extensive experience has been a great asset to this agency, and we are here today largely because of his leadership. Chairman Nolan, please step up to the mic. Thanks. All right.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ford. It's an honor to be here today representing our board, and we actually have 3 members of our board here with us today. Bruce Oka and Jerry Lee and Cameron Beach is here. And we're delighted that our former colleague, Will Dinn, who is an ardent champion, is with us today. Thank you, Mr. Dinn, for being with us today. I want to say that in the years that I've been on this board, I think my proudest vote was supporting this project. And my colleagues on the board agree that it was a great, great moment to be able to do something so positive for so many people in this great city that we all love. I want to thank all the community members who came and their terrific advocacy on behalf of this project. We appreciated that. We were looking forward to working with all of our partners on this, the Board of Supervisors, the Transportation Authority, the Federal Transit Administration, the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, and all others. And I'm sure I speak for everybody here that I look forward to, in the year 2018, riding that first ride from here over to Chinatown. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chairman Nolan. We have numerous valued partners on this project that could not be here today. In particular, I'd like to thank Leslie Rogers, who is our regional FTA administrator, and he's done a great job giving us guidance in terms of going through the federal funding process. Also, we always appreciate the commitment of Steve Heminger and our partners at the Metropolitan Transportation Commission. Another partner in this project is the Transportation Authority, and I'd like to ask Jose Luis Moscovich to come up and say a few words. Jose? Luis?
It's always moving, really, to see things move forward. And pardoning the pun, we transportation planners spend our lives first dreaming up a picture of the world, of the future, then trying to sell it to other people who are too busy to imagine the future of transportation. They're busy imagining the future in their other areas of endeavor. And then we spend the rest of our lives pushing these projects, to get to the point where they do something like today, an extraordinary thing, break ground. And as Nat said before, and everybody before me, and the mayor, of course, takes a tremendous amount of partnership and a tremendous amount of effort, and above all, the 2 other components, a tremendous amount of patience and a tremendous amount of money. It is the reality of getting these big infrastructure projects done. But I think that what's important to keep in mind is that in moving forward with projects, all of them signature projects of the local sales tax program for transportation, like Doyle Drive, like the Central Subway, like Trans-Bay, what we're doing is recommitting to, as a society, investing in infrastructure, because we cannot progress if we don't invest in infrastructure. And we have to pay taxes and we have to put them to good work, and that's exactly what we're doing. And we are improving the livability of our city, committing to the good kind of density that makes the city a more meaningful place to live. And in doing so, we are already a model, an example for the entire nation. And that's why people are coming to San Francisco, and I predict will continue to come to see how we deliver transportation and how we reshape the city for the 21st century, how we create a more balanced transportation system that really addresses the needs of everybody who shares this wonderful space that we call San Francisco. I'm glad that Nat acknowledged our partners in the region. Our partners in the state are not to be forgotten as well. There is state money in this project, traffic congestion relief money specifically, and we probably wouldn't be here today if then Governor Davis hadn't put together $140 million for this specific project. So the commitments of many people, many of whom are no longer around, is fundamental to getting this project underway. We're looking forward. Obviously, we're currently the largest funding partner in terms of committed funds, but I'm looking forward to the moment when we get that full funding grant agreement signed and to see that next almost $1 billion in federal money come to match the local commitment to this project so that we can get this project delivered. We're looking forward to continuing to partner with the MTA to deliver on what Mayor Newsom just promised you, a central subway project delivered efficiently, on budget, and on time for the benefit of all San Franciscans. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jose Luis. Our next set of speakers represents the most important factor in the success of this project over the years. Without the community support, we would not be here today. This project simply would not exist. Residents and business groups alike have recognized the ability and the capability of modern light rail to improve the quality of life and commercial vitality of our city. The next speaker is Carolyn Diamond. She's the director of Market Street Association, a member of our board community advisory group. Ms. Diamond?
Good morning. I'm very pleased to be here this morning to see the beginning of this new phase of the Central Subway. Market Street Association has been on the Citizens Advisory Committee for over 10 years. This project has taken a lot of work and has not been without its controversy. Transit projects and controversy always seem to go hand in hand. At one time, there was a very strong movement to remove the tracks on Market Street. However, they were saved, and now today we see the colorful trolleys moving down Market Street, delighting the tourists and reminding us of our history. Of course, BART was not without its controversy. Basements along Market Street had to be shored up, and the property owners were not pleased with the expenses that they incurred. The Embarcadero station was not even part of the original BART plan until forward-thinking businesses and transit advocates came along and pursued the inclusion of this hugely important station. Remember the outcries of the tearing down of the Embarcadero Freeway and the Central Freeway. And now we can stand at Market and Octavia Streets and look down Market Street and be inspired by the iconic ferry building and the sparkling bay. As we look back to these controversial projects, one cannot imagine how this city would move or operate without them, and one cannot imagine how scarred the city's landscape would look. These were visionary projects, as this is the Central Subway. In years to come, we will look back and wonder how San Francisco would move without this important link. I'd like to thank everyone here for their dedicated work to this project, and I'd like to thank them for their vision, and I know that in generations to come that they will also thank them. This is an important day for San Francisco. I'm happy to be here sharing it with you, and I thank you for inviting me and making me part of it. And Market Street, which is the greatest street in the world, also thanks you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Diamond, for your tireless efforts and support to improve San Francisco. Now, please join me in welcoming Gordon Chin, the Executive Director of the Chinatown Community Development Center, and clearly one of our valued partners in terms of the Central Subway project and bringing a world-class subway to Chinatown. Gordon?
Isn't this a great day to be a San Franciscan? Here. It's not raining. It's Chinese New Year. Baseball season is starting, and here we are celebrating the Central Subway. And this started in the 1970s, right? The three-corridor study, I think, was 74. So on behalf of the Chinatown CDC, Rose and the Chinese Chamber, our wonderful volunteer leaders with Chinatown Trip, I want to add my voice to thank the entire San Francisco family that's embraced the vision of this project. The mayor, former Mayor Brown, the Board of Supervisors, the MTA, certainly Speaker Pelosi's office has been a champion of this project. We never thought this day would come, but here we are at a milestone for this very important project. You know, our mission at the Chinatown CDC is to build community, but equally important is to connect communities. So we view this project as about Chinatown, but more importantly, connecting important places in San Francisco. Bayview, Hunters Point, Visitation Valley, the entire eastern seaboard, the Mission District, Mission Bay, Union Square, Chinatown, North Beach. These are important neighborhoods that are being connected by the Central Subway. I want to thank all of you. I want to ask for your continued support and wish everybody a great Chinese New Year of the Tiger. Thank you.
Thank you, Gordon. You've been a great supporter of this project, and thanks for all your help. Now I'd like to ask an incredible organizer and advocate to give his perspective on the project. Hoi Chong Wong is the president of the Community Tenants Association, a grassroots group with more than 1,000 members in Chinatown. In 2003, the CTA gathered more than 10,000 signatures and delivered those signatures to our leaders in Washington. Mr. Wong?
大家好，我今日非常榮幸出席呢個動土儀式。我哋華埠社區盼望中央地鐵開入華埠足足盼望咗幾廿年啦。而今日嘅動土開工係對我哋一直以嚟嘅支持得到咗肯定。
Good morning, everyone. It is my great pleasure to be here today. Our community is very excited about Central Subway, and this ceremony is definitely a huge recognition of all of our hard work.
我哋社區住客聯會嘅800會員中我哋大部分嘅會員呢都係靠公車呢個出入交通嘅，而住客聯會一定會繼續支持中央地鐵，希望我哋一齊創造呢個三藩市成為世界嘅知名嘅交通嘅第一城市。
The majority of our 1,000 members are transit-dependent San Francisco residents, and we will continue to give our unwavering support to the project. Together, let's make San Francisco a world-famous transit-first city.
最後祝大家新年快樂！
Lastly, I wanted to wish everyone a happy Chinese New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. Before we answer any questions and then wield our shovels, I'd like to recognize one more individual who is key to bringing this project to fruition. We call him Mr. Central Subway inside the MTA, and what I'd like to do is bring up John Fungi, who's the Central Subway Senior Program Manager. John isn't just a juggler of everything from contract negotiations to the Board of Supervisor hearings to media inquiries. He's a captain who is navigating some often choppy waters with a steady hand. So he's going to give you a brief update of what's coming up next. And remember, please, everyone, we need your support in terms of the Central Subway. We've got a long way to go. This is just the beginning. John, come on up and let everyone know where we're going.
Hello, everyone. I am so honored and excited to be part of Central Subway program extending light rail into the 4th Stockton corridor. And I'm especially thankful for Synergy Project Management today, our first Central Subway construction contractor. Why don't you guys wave? I see the hard hats. As you all know, they're currently relocating utilities on 4th Street as we speak. And they've been very beneficial in providing all of the logistical support today to make this event a success. And a big thank you to Synergy for allowing us to use their construction staging area that allowed the MTA to host this wonderful celebration. A staging area that in 2011 will witness the construction of the tunnel boring machine launch pit behind the tent, and in 2012 will witness the driving of the tunnel boring machine through Chinatown and into North Beach. So we invite everyone to utilize our social media tools that we currently have in place to monitor our progress. You can visit our website at sfmta.com/central or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you very much today.
Good job. Well, thank you, John, and thank you to everyone who is here today showing your support for the Central Subway. We're well on our way, and we'd happy to, at this time, we're going to move over here. We're going to start digging, and we will be finished in 2018.
Yeah. Why don't we'll all just sort of lift a shovel, and then we'll count to. You guys want what? Get a good thing, and then we'll do a. And we, all right. We'll do. We'll count down from 5 as a group. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I see who has been writing against it, and let's shovel the dirt on them.
Yeah. What else is there?
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes the program for today.